Welcome to Winter Park, Florida, a nice little city here on the outskirts of Orlando, Florida. Hi everybody and welcome to the world of Micah. Today we are going to be here in Winter Park, Florida, where I'm going to be showing you guys a location where back in 1981 a natural disaster happened here. The Winter Park Sinkhole happened. Natural phenomenon, these happen all the time here in Central Florida. And this one is a very, very memorable one because not only did it swallow an entire house, swallowed several Porsches from a local car shop here. Now the sinkhole still remains here in Central Florida, and it was named after the lady who lost her house due to the sinkhole. So if you guys are up for it, let's take a closer look.
Let's take a closer look.
As you guys can see, we are on the corner of Denning Drive and Comstock Avenue here in Winter Park, Florida. And this is a residential area on this side of the street. But if you look right across the street over here, there is now a lake that sits over there, which is the sinkhole. But before we get to that, I wanted to show you guys where I believe the house of Miss Rose used to sit before it was taken by the sinkhole. Now I'm inserting a photo right now, and if you guys look at this photograph, you can see Fairbanks Avenue is the main road at the very top. Those businesses to the bottom of Fairbanks Avenue are still here, and then look to the left of the top, you can see the road which we are on now, which is Denning Drive. Look at the top left-hand corner, you can see a parking lot. Well, that parking lot still exists, as well as the empty lot behind that. And then look to where Denning Drive goes down. You can see that the Winter Park sinkhole actually took over part of that drive, and I believe that is where the house was sitting. So now here we are. Fairbanks Avenue's here. That parking lot that I was telling you guys is right here, and then that open lot is right here. That was in the map, and this is Denning Drive, and it looked as if half of this was engulfed by the sinkhole. And I want to say the house was sitting on this side here where I'm looking at. I'm going to try and show you guys where I believe the house was. I could be completely wrong, but just looking at the photographs, I believe this could possibly be the spot. Looking at this photograph on my phone here, I want to say this, in this general area, is where the house was. Right over here. I believe this is it. Right here. Just looking at a few things. Across the street there, it does go down. The house would have been sitting there, and then right over here there was like a green grass fence that went across, and then that tree right there, I believe that tree could quite possibly be the same tree, just has gotten bigger since 1981. But this was the house of Rose Mae Williams, and her dog Muffin were sitting at her house when the sinkhole began to take over. In fact, she said she saw an oak tree disappear, and then one thing led to another, and she finally realized what was actually happening. And for those of you who do not live in Central Florida or near anywhere that has sinkholes, essentially what happens is below the soil of Central Florida, or below the soil in Florida in general, we have dirt, we have the sand, then we have limestone, and then below that is water. And what had happened was, during this era, the water was completely gone. We had a drought. And with this drought, the limestone pretty much gives out because it cannot support the dirt, the sand, and everything above it. So when we have droughts and everything, the water does not hold the limestone up properly, and that's what causes these natural disasters of sinkholes. Pretty much that's exactly what happened right over there. And not only did this sinkhole swallow Miss Rose's house, but it swallowed 6 Porsches that were at a local shop right on Fairbanks. But Miss Rose's house was completely swallowed. In fact, in some of the news clips, you could see pieces of the wood of her house floating to the top in the water when they filled it in. And that's what they decided to do. They decided to put concrete down and fill the sinkhole and create a lake. Now they were able to pull out one Porsche. It was a little blue Porsche they were able to pull out. The rest of the Porsches are still down there. So if you want to get a Porsche, just go in the lake. And right over here, I believe, is where Rose's house was, because over here is the businesses and everything, and I want to say that was just open, but her house would have been sitting over here and completely went in to what you see now as Lake Rose, named, inspired by her house that was swallowed up by the sinkhole. And this made national headline news. I mean, people were talking about the sinkhole of 81. In fact, some of the locals started making a penny off of this sinkhole. They were selling t-shirts that said sinkhole of 81. They were selling them out here on the street. In fact, I believe I found exactly where one of these guys was selling the sinkhole of 81 shirt. Right over here. Right over here is where I believe this photograph was taken. You can see the grass in the background, the guy and his son walking up to the gentleman who was selling the t-shirts, and then there was a fence in the background, and that fence is right there, that's taller fence in the background. Now this fence did not exist right here, but they have these white poles set up with ropes. But I believe this is exactly where that guy was selling those t-shirts. Also, look in the background to the left of that kid. You see the sidewalk there? And it goes behind that gentleman in that grassy area. Well, this is what's left of that sidewalk right here. Not sure whose property this is, and the gate is open, but I'm not gonna step inside. But that's that fence that I was talking about right over there. See how it's much taller than a normal chain link fence. And I want to say you can see that cement continued on in the background there. So I believe the gentleman was standing right here selling the t-shirts. And so basically they were standing on the other side of this sidewalk right here, the cement and the chain link fence over there. I believe this is it right here. Obviously zoomed in a little bit, but you can see the shrubbery in the background of the guy who was selling the t-shirts. I think this is it. It's just too coincidental. So now let's cross the road and let's see the sinkhole of 81. Let's go and check it out. Now what's nice about this is the fact that they do have walkways, because this is a park. Lake Rose here, and that's Martin Luther King Jr. Park, which is a very active park with locals. But I want to get down there and see the actual sinkhole. Not only the fact that it swallowed house, but it swallowed 6 Porsches. 1 was removed, but the other 5 are still here. This is nuts. Like, this is a sinkhole. This is not a natural lake or anything. In fact, check this out. You can see on the side here, you see how it's just embanked, like goes straight down from behind that business? That's because over time that grass and everything is just overgrown, but that's just where the ground broke through and just collapsed into the sinkhole. So I want to say Miss Rose's house was here and just collapsed completely in to the sinkhole. And also somewhere around here was where this photograph was taken. I want to say the photograph here was taken somewhere around in this area. You can see a crane lifting that Porsche, the blue Porsche that was removed from this area. And the reason why I think it's somewhere in this area is because the embankment on the side over there, but also look in the photograph again and look at the light pole that you can see. It matches up to these light poles here for the different soccer and baseball fields they have down here. There's 2. There's one here and there's one here. I don't see one over here, but that doesn't mean anything. They could have completely changed where those lights are, but I'm more or less looking over in this area because of how it just goes straight down on the embankment. Further investigating what I was talking about with the poles, walking over here, the street poles and the light poles in the distance kind of match up a little bit. So I want to say they had, as you can see in the photograph to the left of the Porsche, they had one of the restroom house facilities like the one over here, just like that one, but it was somewhere in this area. All this seems really new, the basketball court and the football stadium and everything. I want to say they had something over here because right here is the sinkhole, so it would match up perfectly, and that photograph was taken on the other side there. But then again, so much progress has happened, I could be in the wrong spot, but I think that is exactly where it was. So somewhere around in here they did pick up with a crane that blue Porsche, but the rest of the Porsche cars are still in here at the very, very, very bottom underneath the concrete and dirt. This is so wild to me, you guys. It's a sinkhole. Right where I'm standing, this could just open up and swallow me whole. Not really, but it's for the effect of the episode. Pay attention to that building to the far top right of Fairbanks. The way it's shaped, the way it kind of has a long building, and then the very top of it, it has a left-facing building. That's a cleaners, and that cleaners still is here today. In fact, I'll show you exactly what I mean. There's the cleaners. You see how it goes all the way down and then goes out to the left if you're looking at it from up top? That can be seen in the shot. That's Fairbanks Avenue right there. That's what I'm talking about. Still here. This building is still here. But look how close it came to getting just completely swallowed up by the sinkhole here. Oh my gosh. That's insane. I mean, that goes straight down. You guys really can't see how that goes just straight down because of the camera. I mean, these businesses all could have just fallen in right there into that sinkhole. That's how close all this came. It's kind of hard to tell on the camera, but this is at such an angle. I'm on the back side of the businesses that were affected by the sinkhole. Right over here, you can see they've added some grass here because it literally just falls off right here. You don't want to walk too far out because it'll just take you straight down. But that's where it happened, right there. It just blows my mind how close all of these businesses here were. I mean, holy jeez, that's so close. So the next time you visit Lake Rose, now you know the backstory of how this little tiny lake came to be. It's very small if you come out here and look at it. At first, I didn't think this was it. But then doing further investigation, I found out this is it. There's actually no sign out here stating that this is Lake Rose, but you can Google it, Lake Rose Winter Park, and you can find the address. It's right next to Martin Luther King Jr. Park, which is right here. The sinkhole of '81 happened right there. Well, you guys, I believe our adventure is over. And now, it's time to say goodbye. But if you enjoyed this episode, give me a big thumbs up. And if you haven't yet, go ahead and click that subscribe button because it's free and it will keep you updated with my latest video. Also, if you would like to support my channel, please visit my Patreon page at patreon.com/worldofmicah. Where donating $1 a month can help fund episodes just like this. If you're more into merchandise like hats, t-shirts, and other accessories, check out my Spreadshirt. The link is down below, and you guys can click on that link and it'll take you to where you can purchase things and support me through that outlet if you choose to do so. It was a lot of fun walking out here and finding some of the spots where they take the photos for the newsreel and some of the news articles for newspapers and different media outlets from back in 1981. I'm always intrigued by history, and this was one of those natural disasters that happened, and a lot of people around the world knew about it. And it's kind of cool to visit the spot where it happened. I'm glad no one was hurt in the process, and hey, at least someone got their Porsche back after it happened. But the next time you're here in Winter Park, be sure to stop by and say hello to Lake Rose. I'll see you on the next episode of World of Micah, everybody. Until then, stay weird. Goodbye.